Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are continuing with the Bhagavad Gita as it is. As you all know, my name is Gita, as it is given here in Bhagavad Gita. My name is Gita, and I'm a certified teacher of the Bhagavad Gita. We started off with the introduction and took up chapter 1, did a few verses from chapter 2, and we will continue with chapter 2, verse 41. We'll do just a few verses today, 41 through 44. I'm going to read the Sanskrit and then the translation by Srila Prabhupada. Vyavasatmika buddhir ekehe kuru nandana bahushakhahi anantascha buddhayo vyavasainam. Translation by Prabhupada. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many-branched. So far in this chapter 2, we have learned about our real identity, who we really are, that we are the eternal spirit souls. And Krishna has explained in almost 22 Sanskrit verses about the size of the soul, the qualities of the soul, what are those qualities that actually is us, the real us. And the main point that he mentioned was that it is eternal. The soul is eternal. Na jayate mriyate va kadachit. This is in this chapter 2. Na jayate mriyate va kadachit. For the soul, there is neither birth nor death. It is eternal. It is ever existing. He also explains, Dehi no asmin yatha dehi kaumaram yovanam jara tatha dehantara praptir dhiras tatra namyati. This is the Sanskrit verse from this chapter 2, wherein it is explained that as the embodied soul, which means the soul which is caged inside this body, the spirit soul, as the embodied soul continuously passes from boyhood to youth to old age, similarly, it passes on to another body at the time of death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. So this is the importance that Krishna is trying to tell Arjuna, that we are not this body, but we are the spirit soul. Now, Arjuna, being a warrior, a fighter, he did not want to do his prescribed duty as a fighter. He just wanted to run away from his duty, which is not the right thing to do. So that is the reason Krishna is now explaining in the Bhagavad Gita about our real prescribed duty. Main thing to understand is that Arjuna is being given this knowledge by Krishna, that you should do your work as a fighter without thinking of the results. Generally, what happens that when we work, we always are looking forward to the fruits of our activities, which means, oh, I did this, so this is what I should get out of this work. So we are so engrossed in the fruits of the action that we completely forget that fruitive work, which means trying to work just to enjoy the fruits, can cause bondage. This we will learn more in chapter 3 and 5 of the Bhagavad Gita. So there should be no desire to enjoy the fruits of the work. Remain equipoised in all situations. Now one may say, how can we do that? With the help of knowledge. When we take on the knowledge from the Bhagavad Gita and we understand, contemplate on it, and then put it into practice. The previous verse that we did last Tuesday, Krishna tells Arjuna that there is no loss. See, if we study Bhagavad Gita, there is no loss. Nothing goes from our pocket. We don't spend any money. These classes are free. We just take on that knowledge. There's no loss. But if we can somehow or the other understand the whole Bhagavad Gita and put it into practice, we will notice the difference. Now, in this verse that I read today, Krishna says, those on this path, which means those who are not performing fruitive activities, right? This is what he's talking about, such people who are not working for just desiring to enjoy the fruits, no fruitive activity. Now, to do that, one has to understand, what does it mean? The Bhagavad Gita explains to us that first of all, we need basic faith. Actually, we need basic faith in anything that we do, right? Anything. If supposing I don't know who my father is, I have never seen him, I've not heard much about him. And if I want to know who my father is, then the best person to tell me the truth is my mother. So if I go to my mother, instead of wasting my time in doing some research, trying to find out, ask this one, ask that one, or look at the family tree or whatever, that takes a lot of time and effort. If only I can just go to my mother and ask, who is my father? And we trust and hope she will tell us the truth. So this Bhagavad Gita is considered like the mother who is giving us knowledge about who our real father is. Now, we need to have that basic faith that we will get this knowledge from this book. And now we need to build this faith, make it very strong, right? If a boy and a girl, they, like each other, they have some faith, in each other. But if they really want their relationship to be strong and long lasting, their faith has to become strong. And how is that possible? That is possible with the help of knowledge. So here Krishna is saying, Vyavasatmika buddhi eke he kuru nandana. Eke means one, which means we need to be focused. Our aim should be one. It should not be many branched. There is a famous saying, jack of all trades, master of none, right? Trying to do this, everything, and then not being able to master any of it. No. Especially in spirituality, there has to be some focus. The aim should be one. The focus is there, but then there has to be determination also. If supposing I want to, have a flourishing business, I really want to make a lot of money, I want to become a millionaire or a billionaire or whatever it may be. But I have to start from small with basic faith and knowledge, and there should be determination. The focus should be on my goal. My goal is by the end of the year or by in next 2 years or 3 years or whatever the goal may be, I want to reach this particular position. Or I would like to earn X number of dollars by the end of X number of years. So when we have a goal in front of us, then there should be focus. That is what Krishna is talking about. Vyavasatmika buddhi eke he kuru. It should not be many branched. Okay, I start my business, maybe I start a restaurant. Okay, I am not fully, focused on that. And now I'm trying to do, maybe I'm going to open a dance academy. And then maybe I think I should even do some IT business. And maybe I should, no. It cannot be many branched. If it is many branched, then the focus is not there. So here in this verse, in the Sanskrit verse, Krishna is telling Arjuna that their aim should be one, there should be focus and with determination. Now the question will arise, okay, I have faith, whatever I'm doing, I think I'm doing right. Now, how can I increase that faith? How can I make it strong? Especially in spirituality, there should be no wavering, right? There should be, like, as I was explaining, the faith has to be built. It has to be built on the base of knowledge, not blind faith. No, It's not that today I tell you do this, this, and this, and you just go home and you do that. No, it has to be based on knowledge. It's not blind faith. Talking about blind faith, I received a message. I think it was yesterday, I received a video message where this gentleman is saying that I have a trust which is interlife trust, which means from one life to another. So he was saying that if you give a donation to this interlife trust, say you give $1 million as donation, then in your next life, he says, I will find you and I'll give you $500,000, because maybe in your next life, you may not be rich. Maybe in your next life, you'll be really poor and you will really need money. So, you invest now and we'll give it to you in next life. That is ridiculous, right? How can you find someone else in the next life? So can't have that blind faith and then just jump into anything, especially when it comes to spirituality. It has to be based on knowledge, and the faith actually is nurtured. It grows and grows and grows and becomes strong with the help of knowledge. And the reason we human beings have philosophical intelligence is so that we can hear, we can think about it, like whatever you're hearing today, you think about it, and then you can, using your intelligence, decide, is this something that is something I would like to hear more, I would like to follow, I would like to practice? Then go from there. That is what we do even in our day-to-day life, right? So here in this verse, Krishna is saying the focus should be one. Now, what is this Bhagavad Gita? This is actually the essence of all the Vedic scriptures, all the Vedas. Previously, there was one Veda, which was divided into 4 parts. So all the knowledge which is there in the 4 Vedas, the essence is in the Bhagavad Gita. So if somehow or the other we can understand the Bhagavad Gita, understand who we really are, why are we here in this material world, we understand, what are we supposed to do, what is my goal, and where do I go from here after I give up this body? When the soul leaves the body, where does it go? Can I decide the destination? Yes, definitely. We can decide where we want to go, or in which body do we want to, be born again in. So these Vedas, they are actually given to us by the Supreme Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita, when we go to chapter 15, verse number 15, we will see Krishna says, Sarvasya chaham hridi sanivishto matah smritir jnanam apohanam cha vedescha sarver aham eva vedyo vedanta krit vedavid chaham. What does that mean? He says, I am situated in everyone's heart. And he says, from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness, which means we have these 3 choices. We make the choice. Do we want to remember the Lord? Do we want to forget him? Do we want knowledge about him? Based on our desires, he fulfills. And then he says, Vedas just survey aham. He says, I am the compiler of the Vedas. And what is the purpose? The purpose of the Vedas is to know the Supreme Lord. This is what the Vedas talk about. And Vedas, they are the oldest scripture in the world. They are actually the spiritual literature of ancient India. And of course, it's written in Sanskrit language, but there is a translation also. And there's a huge collection of this scripture. So what are those 4 Vedas? Rig, Yajur, Sama, and Atharva. These are the 4 Vedas. What does the Rig Veda consist of? It consists of rituals, hymns, prayers, mantras. What is mantras? Chanting of the holy names. And then Yajur Veda, it deals with the ceremonies, how to perform different rituals for different goals. And then Sama Veda is about singing the mantras and also some rules for chanting. It also has some mystic vibrations. And finally, the Atharva Veda, it deals with the priest who knows these invocations, who also, in this Veda, we also talk about Ayurveda, right? We all have heard about the medicinal value of Ayurveda. So all different aspects of life, whether it is material, religious, spiritual knowledge, everything is there in the Vedas. So imagine if we sit down to read the Vedas, one lifetime may not be sufficient because they are so vast. So that is why the essence of the Vedas is given to us in the Bhagavad Gita. Veda means knowledge or revelation, right? It also talks about divine incarnations of the Lord. It is compiled by a very great sage called Vyasadeva, and Vyasadeva is none other than the incarnation of Lord Krishna. He's the one who has compiled all the Vedas for our benefit, so that we can understand what is the purpose of life and how to break the cycle of birth and death. And it all starts with faith. Adau Shraddha Tatha Sadhu Sangha Bhajana Kriya Anartha Nivriti. What does that mean? In the beginning, we have basic faith, right? Tatha Sadhu Sangha. We start when we have that basic faith that, yes, I want to know who am I, what is my purpose in life. Then when we have these questions, then we should associate or be in the company of those who are like-minded, who are also having the same questions. And then we should approach someone who is certified in this knowledge and who can give us this knowledge and make us understand that. And when we have this association, with the help of association, then gradually we start practicing. Just like every Tuesday after the class is over, what do? We do some mantra meditation. We hear the theory part and then we do the practicals, which is the mantra meditation. So that helps us to anartha nivriti, which means remove all the unwanted things from the heart. They just come out as soon as those mantra sound vibrations, they go into our ears, they reach our heart, and they start cleansing our heart. Some of us may have in a little small quantity or larger degree or whatever it may be, but whatever is unwanted in the heart, like lust, anger, greed, pride, envy, all this will start coming out, and then there will be purity. The heart will be completely pure. Then we will really be able to connect with the Supreme Lord. So association, just like what we are doing today, we are associating with each other, right? And we are also associating with Krishna because we are reading from the Bhagavad Gita. We are hearing his words. So we are also associating with him. And what will be the result? Will be the highest perfection. That will be the end result. So we are talking so much about faith. So I was looking up the meaning of faith. It means it is unflinching trust in something sublime. And that makes sense, right? And how do we make this unflinching trust in something sublime very strong, right? Again, come back to knowledge. And all that we learn from Bhagavad Gita is all activities need to be performed on an absolute plane, which means very, like a plane which is, you can say, spiritual, perfection. And to do that, there are some necessary qualifications. There's some qualifications required, like one needs to be sober, need to be equipoised, need to be tolerant, humble, all this. Now one may say, oh, these are such heavy words. How can we somehow or the other develop these qualities if we don't have them? How? Simple. We take on knowledge and we practice under the guidance of a teacher. When we do that, then we can reach that absolute plane. And what does Krishna tell us in this verse today? He says, Vyavasatmika buddhi. He says one-pointed intelligence, which means one should be resolute in purpose. That's very important. Anything we do. If I remember when I was little, I was very fond of dancing and singing. So I would tell my mother, and she would take me to a class. And she enrolled me in the class for dancing and singing, and of course, pottery, clay pottery, or whatever. But if I just went to the class once or twice and thrice and then gave it up, then there's going to be no success, right? I have to be resolute. I have to have that determination. Yes, this is what I want to learn, so I'm going to focus on this. This is my goal. I'm going to focus on that, and I'm going to somehow or the other reach my goal. So one has to be resolute. And Bhagavad Gita teaches us how to reach that stage. It just teaches us, our activities remain the same. For instance, going to work, taking care of family, friends, relationships, society, country, whatever it may be. The activities remain the same. We just need to change the consciousness. We need to change how we perceive ourselves and others. We need to see beyond the body, right? Right now, people in general, they are only on the bodily concept, which means they only want to satisfy the body. How somehow or the other I can make my senses very happy. Something nice to see, something nice to eat, something nice to hear. So the concentration is on the body. But we need to change the consciousness, that we change it from body to the spirit soul. It cannot be done by force. It's not a switch, that I turn on and then boom, I am, whoa, I am all spiritual now, or my consciousness is changed. No, it requires practice, but with deliberation. That is very important. I can give you an example. I can give you actually two examples. So there are two people, two colleagues working at, in a job. They both are on the same position. They're both doing the same work, exactly the same work, and they both have the same boss. Now, one of them is doing the work to the best of his ability, but is not concerned about the results, is not thinking that, oh, if I do this, I'm going to get this, and then I'm going to buy this. No, there is just only thing he's thinking about is, this is my duty, this is my prescribed duty, I'm doing my job. Whatever the results that I'm supposed to get based on my karma, I will get, and I'll be satisfied. Whereas there's this other person sitting next to him with the same job, but is all worked up and working many, many hours and struggling really hard, and is so much in anxiety because is looking for the end result, not realizing that whatever activities we have performed in our past, based on our past karma, we get whatever we deserve. So if based on my past karma, if I deserve to get only $10,000, that is all I'm going to get. It doesn't matter how hard I try. And if that is also not there in my karma, I'm not going to get it. That doesn't mean that I don't do my job. Yes, I do. But expectation of enjoying the fruits of these activities. Let me give you another example. There are these two colleagues. They are working in the same office, under the same boss, doing the same job. One of them who actually has, has that consciousness of, spirituality, of understanding that, yes, I just do my prescribed duty and leave the results to the Supreme Lord. He eats every day, and so does the other person eat every day, right? We all eat every day. Now, this person, he eats only after he has offered his food to the Lord to thank him for giving him food on the table. So he has that consciousness of offering the food first to the Lord and then eating the blessed food, which is called sanctified food. Whereas the other one is just enjoying the senses without having that consciousness, you see. So this is how Bhagavad Gita teaches us how to be conscious of every little thing that we do, because everything that we do is going to have a reaction. Every action has a reaction, and we don't want any reaction. So that, of course, we will learn in chapter 3 and 5 of the Bhagavad Gita. But best thing what we learn from today's verse is that we use our intelligence in focusing ourselves on Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti means devotion, the art of loving the Lord, the art of performing devotional service. See, when we come on this path, which Krishna is talking about, those on this path are resolute in purpose. He's trying to say that those who are not performing fruitive work, they are the ones who are able to gradually reach that perfect stage. Now, many times people say that, I have been reading Bhagavad Gita, I've been hearing Bhagavad Gita, but I'm still suffering. Is that a very common question? Yes, people are suffering. Why are people suffering? It's because of consciousness again, because they get affected by dualities. What are the dualities? Happiness, distress, cold, heat, gain, loss, victory, defeat, pain, pleasure. These are dualities of life. We have to face them. But how we face them is up to us. If we have the knowledge from the Bhagavad Gita, then it becomes easy for us to be tolerant of all the dualities. And that is why the foundation of Bhagavad Gita that Krishna is starting with chapter 2 is, you are not this body. As soon as we come out of that concept, I am not this body, but I am the spirit soul, we start learning more and more and more. And that is how we start becoming more resolute in our purpose. Then our faith also starts becoming strong. Now, when we also practice, like we practice mantra meditation after each class, when we practice that on a daily basis, that gives us a spiritual strength, and that helps us to get liberated from the bondage. Right? That ends the sufferings. It just doesn't really end the suffering, but we remain equipoised. We don't really get disturbed by all that. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddha. He says, out of thousands, only one will try for perfection. And he says, Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. Such a great soul is very rare. This is what he's telling us. So all of you who have, used your intelligence and have taken this option of hearing the Bhagavad Gita are very fortunate people. You have done a lot of piety in your life to really get this opportunity and also make use of this opportunity, right? This is what he is talking about in this verse. I read verse number 41. Let's see what he says in 42 and 43. He says, men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas, which recommend various fruitive activities for elevation to heavenly planets, resultant good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of sense gratification and opulent life, they say that there is nothing more than this. So here, first time, Krishna is talking about the Vedas to Arjuna. He's asking Arjuna to give up this petty weakness of heart. He wants him to give up this karma kanda mentality. Karma kanda is a section of Vedas which teaches us how to perform fruitive activities, for those who are interested in, using the Vedas, to please demigods and to get some fruits for their, sacrifices or austerities they perform. So that section, is for those who want that, like some want good health, a lot of wealth, or good spouse, or, some enjoyment for the senses. So they perform different sacrifices that are mentioned in the Karma Kanda section of the Vedas. And what is the result? Some of them reach the heavenly planets. But after enjoying the results of their activities, then they have to come back. Right? In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Brahma Bhavana Loka Punar Avartino Arjuna. He says, even if one goes to the highest material planet, the highest heavenly planet, which is Brahmaloka. After finishing the enjoyment, they have to come back into this material world, which means even going to the heavenly planets is temporary. We need to come back. So why not aim for permanent residence? Why not aim for permanent happiness? Right? Before also, if you remember in chapter 1, Krishna talked to Arjuna about, those warriors who fight in the war and then they die, then they go to the heavenly planets, and those who win the battle, then they enjoy the opulence. Now again, he's speaking about heaven now, but he's going to speak on the higher level. That is what he's trying to say, that no point trying to go to the heavenly planets, because such activities are temporary. So there are many sacrifices that are mentioned in the Vedas, and here in this verse, Krishna is talking about flowery words. We must not get attracted by the flowery words of the Vedas, because in some part of the Vedas, there is so much description about how to enjoy more, how to increase our sense enjoyment, but that all is temporary. But that is, one may question, then why is it there in the Vedas? Right? It's simple. Just like when we go to the grocery store, we have different choices, because different people have different choices. They want different things. Like if I want to buy cheese, when I go to the grocery store, there are different kinds of cheese available, different brands and with different taste or whatever. So then I choose what I want. So choice is given. Similarly, in the Vedas, the choice is given for those who want to perform those sacrifices, because different people have different choices and they want different things. So important point of this verse is that we should not get attracted by the flowery words of the Vedas. Let's take the last verse for today, where Krishna says, in the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. He's talking about samadhi. Samadhi, I'm not sure if some of you have heard that word samadhi. Samadhi is where you reach that position where you are completely, your senses are completely under control. But then there are different meanings to samadhi also. Here, Krishna is talking about a fixed mind. It's important to have a mind which is fixed in the self, which means we understand, again, the same point, that I am not this body, but I am the spirit soul. So have that fixed mind in the self, and not just, have the mind go haywire all the places just to enjoy the senses. And here he says those who are too attached to sense enjoyment, right? Too attached. And they want only material opulence, like, I want this and I want that, and I want to marry this one, and I want a $2 million home, or whatever it means. It's like the whole goal is all about satisfying the body, and there's nothing wrong in that, provided our consciousness is in the right position, provided we understand that everything is temporary. There has to be, like we read the first verse for today, where there has to be resolute determination. And here in this last verse that we read, Krishna is telling Arjuna that if one is too attached to just enjoying the body, just sense enjoyment, then the resolute determination to go towards spirituality does not take place. And then even a person does not understand the purpose of human life. Then it only becomes eat, sleep, and be merry. That should not be our motto. Eat, sleep, and be merry. That's not, that even the animals do. They eat, sleep, have babies, and they defend themselves. No. We've got philosophical intelligence by which we can understand who we really are. And where do we go from here, right? It's a very rare human birth. Out of 8.4 million species of lives, just a small section are the human beings. It's very rare. And human birth is meant for self-realization. And that is why this Bhagavad Gita is called the science of self-realization. That is what it means. So this last verse that we did is he's talking about samadhi. You know, samadhi actually doesn't mean that you sit upright, straight, you know, close your eyes, or you go to the mountains and you meditate. No, it just means to have a fixed mind. How? Mantra meditation. We need to chant. That sound vibrations are so strong. Do you know, when a person is asleep, there is only one sense which is really active, and that is the sense of hearing. Our eyes may be closed, we may be very fast asleep, but the moment there is a sound, whether it is our alarm system goes off or there's a knock or a doorbell, immediately we wake up. And that is the sense of hearing. This is very powerful. And that is why it is recommended that we hear these spiritual sound vibrations, the mantra meditation, which can help us, you know, to somehow or the other absorb this knowledge, understand it, and then put it into practice. And it's possible if we do it on a daily basis, just like we eat every day, we sleep every day, we work every day, we breathe every day, right? So similarly, we should also do mantra meditation on a daily basis. So I am going to end at verse number 44 today. If I'm going to do the mantra meditation like we do always after the class, just for a few minutes. And it's a good thing, you know, to do the meditation on these very holy beads. These are called the Tulasi beads. And what we do is we chant the whole mantra on each bead. These are 108 beads, and it takes about 10 minutes to chant this whole round of this on these beads. So I think there is a very nice comment by Raphael. On the path of consciousness, there will be signs of finding the soulmate who is destined in the various transmigrations on the path to the light. It is an individual job with the direction of a spiritual, but in company of a soulmate, the shared realization makes the road less winding. Very, very true. Yes, if we do have, you know, someone to walk with us on this path, it becomes much easier. Just like my husband and I, we've been, you know, doing this mantra meditation for over 35 years now, and it's very, very simple. So I am going to post, you know, I'm going to post the WhatsApp group link, to the Facebook page link, and also to the YouTube channel. And I'm going to post on the chat the mantra that we are going to chant now. So please, I hope it has all come in. Yes. So please follow this, you know, please chant with me and you will notice the difference. We'll just chant for a little time, okay? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So this is how we chant. If we can, if it would be, it's my humble request, all of you, to please try to chant this at least a few minutes, every day, and you will see the difference. The sound vibrations are really very, very powerful. So I would like to know if anyone has any questions. You are welcome to ask if you have any questions or any comments.